I want to talk about a story. I want to talk about Emmett Till. And this is a story that is known in sort of the civil rights movement in the 60s and 50s in America. So Emmett Lewis Till was a 14-year-old boy, African-American boy, who was brutally murdered in 1955 in Mississippi. He was accused of offending a white woman in her family's grocery store. The brutality of this murder and the fact that his killers were acquitted drew attention to the long history of violent persecution of African-Americans in the United States. So it's an iconic story in United States. It was during the Jim Crow era, and essentially you've got this 14-year-old who has been accused of catcalling and offending a white woman. This white woman now tells her these two white men that she knows.
I think it was like her uncle and her cousin or something.
Yeah. And the white men have taken it upon themselves to find this black boy, this 14-year-old black boy.
In the dead of night.
Take him from his home and brutally attack him until he was dead.
He's so mutilated to the point his own mother didn't actually recognize what he looked like. It was due to either a ring or a necklace he was wearing that she knew it was him. Generally, I remember learning this story when I was at school. In year 11, we did it for our GCSEs, and it affected me so much. Like, it still affects me to this day. Like, he winked at her or things said little lady. It was just the most minor thing, and yet he was the one who got killed for it. He was from Chicago going to Mississippi to go and see an uncle of his, just to experience what it was like to be down south, because in Chicago it was a lot more integrated and segregation was not as deep. And for me, I just found it so crazy that these white men were like, this boy has the audacity of talking to a white girl with chest like that. Kill him. Like, what? And I know this is in America. I know it was the 60s, but that was something I genuinely discombobulated. I couldn't get my head around it. I couldn't fathom it. Like, if you search Emmett Till and look at the photos of how he looked like after they mutilated him, it's fucked up.
It changes you. It changes you.
It does.
So you basically, his body that was found after he had been murdered, after he'd been brutally beaten.
They tied him to a truck tire and threw him into the Mississippi River, I think.
Honestly, just such disgusting and violent atrocities to a 14-year-old boy. 14. A 14-year-old boy, right? His injuries were so severe that his mum decided to have an open casket at the funeral, so everyone who had walked past, every media company that had been there for the news, they would have to see what this boy was left with. They put before and after pictures of this boy in all the movements and all the conversations, because they needed to make you see how bad racism is, or how real racism is. Now, so this boy has been killed, right? And because of the way that jurors was at the time, all white jury acquitted these two men in their case. But what also is shocking is because of state laws at the time, they could not be involved in a second try. So because they've already been to court, they were done, they didn't have to go again, they actually sold their story. They sold their story to the newspapers of killing this 14-year-old boy. So
I didn't know that.
They didn't hide what had happened. And fast forward, a couple years later, I think even on the white woman's deathbed, she says she made it all up.
He did go into the shop and get things, but he did the way she literally said it was as if he was flirting with her.
Yeah.
And it wasn't to that degree. I genuinely think at the end he literally just winked at her or something, and she literally had this massive frenzy and having to tell someone that he did that. But I genuinely just think it was the fact that in Mississippi in that time, black people were so scared of white people. The fact that this boy just walked in, bought his soda, walked straight out, because wasn't it? I'm trying to remember. I feel like it was it wasn't anything that was to be deep, to be honest. But
he's a 14-year-old boy. It doesn't need to be deep. He was just existing in South America for 3 days and he got killed for it.
But I think it was just, it doesn't even matter that he was 14 to them.
Yeah.
It's just the fact that this black boy had the nerve of approaching her to get something.
Okay, so I found it. 2017, an author Timothy Tyson released details of the 2008 interview with Caroline Bryant. He claimed that during the interview she had disclosed that she had fabricated parts of her testimony at the trial. So there you have proof. She fabricated her story, and a 14-year-old a 14-year-old boy was killed because of it.
Yes, I honestly, like I say, this story just annoys me. Even when you're talking about it before, it gives me chills. I don't know. It's something I just can't comprehend. I think my head around.
It just shows you. It shows you the violence of racism. It shows you the violence of white women's tears. It shows you the violence of how society would rather look after the fragility of a white woman than the justice of a 14-year-old black boy.
It's like
nobody can tell me any different. This is why I have no tolerance. When I went to boarding school, I was one of few black people, right? So days we would get group racism, days it would just be like me. It was literally just pit all of the fun. It was just what's gonna happen today? On the days where we'd get group racism, me and my friends would come down to have, because I was at boarding school as well, we'd come downstairs to have breakfast, and these girls are taking the mick out of our lips, but they're doing it whilst we're sitting with each other. So they're all trying to do something, which is fucking hilarious because all you fucking dickheads are getting thinner now. Sorry, I just had to get that out.
Don't even get me started on this whole
let me just say that and let me walk away because I know I can get on for it for a hot minute. Anyway, so we're on this table now. These girls were I remember it so vividly. They were literally doing this with their lips and then talking in weird voices, being like, "Oh, can you do this for me?" And there was us three sitting there, and we were just staring at them, being like, "Bro, these girls are brave, you know. They're really, really brave." And that was around year 10. So I was a bit more tactical with how I moved in that school. Year 11, if you were rude to me, I'm coming for your head. It was as simple as that. No, honestly, it was bad. It was a woman would grammatically correct me. I would say I don't take that advice from people exfoliating the bath. I had no respect. No respect, do you know what I mean? I did not care because I was so frustrated at the fact that if I wanted to cry or if I wanted to show my feelings, it would be "Sarah, what are you doing?" I remember this one time I was crying and I had enough, right? I was having a panic attack. I was literally panicking so bad to the point where I had been taken off my feet. A teacher literally was like, "What are you doing? What are you doing? Can you stop that?" When I'm trying to because I'm hyperventilating just because you haven't seen a black woman in fear before. A black woman that you put in fear. So you can understand why I have no patience. There was days, oh my God, I remember this one time, right? So I've got multiple stories about white women trying to fuck with me. I don't know if it's because of how dark I am. I don't know if it's, oh my God, it's
I can't
crazy.
It sounds really bad, but sometimes I remember I went through a phase of forgetting
I
was black.
But the thing is, this is why I don't judge whatever you had to do whilst being black, because guess what? It's hard. I know that I was dismissive of some things when I should have stood up for some things.
Oh, yeah,
I know that I was selfish in looking after myself because it was survival as well. There's so many influencing variables that influence the character of who we were then. Yeah. However, we know better now, so we do better. So when I see the same shit that I do from my past, it irritates me different. It's literally fool me once, shame on you. Fool me twice, shame on me. Shame on fucking me, mate. I've got so many stories. I remember there's this one time there was these white women that were throwing stuff at us. They literally they'd thrown they were scrunching paper balls or like, they were just scrunching up shit, and they were throwing it at us, and they were like, pick it up, like, fucking disgusting. I got suspended that day because I was not having it.
I think, you know what, I was just a scared child, and I think as well, so my dad was a Zimbabwean born, and he went to the UK when he was 16, 17.
So he studied here?
Yeah, for A-levels he went to, I think it was Durham College or something.
Shit, man.
The way my dad actually came to England was scary. He met a friend who was coming to England. He was like, right, I'm going to move to England. I'm done with Africa, you know. And he was like, what? He was like, come with me. Just do the application.
Oh,
and the
God,
guy who told him to go didn't even get the application my dad did.
Oh, that's
and
an
it was
L.
yeah, do you know what I mean? So my dad and these 5 random boys from Zimbabwe all went to Durham, went to school. My dad literally said, I think that's what kind of molded my dad to the person that he is today.
Yeah.
If you know Mr. Chimanikura, you know exactly what I mean. And I think as well, like, so then after that, he finished, and then he got into Leeds University.
Yeah, so
he
what
went
did he
back.
Study?
He studied mechanical engineering. So my dad is the classic stereotypical African man. He's either doctor, law, engineering, like, there's no medium. The fact that I'm doing fashion, thank you.
Mate, the fact that I was doing psychology, they were like,
thank you.
And I was like, it's still a science B, like, chill.
Exactly. And I think he just used to be like, just keep them sweet.
Yes.
Was what my parents used to say. So
but
I was
being sweet is tiring.
Yes, but it this is why I think.
And now I'm still catering for your emotions. What about my emotions? Who's catering for them?
That's what I said. I think that's why I have so many issues within myself, and I'm dealing with all these things. Like I said to my friend today, I was like, I can't lie. I will say it with my chest now, but I used to be a major colorist. Like it was a thing where I remember there was a friend. My friends would laugh at me because they know this. There was a time I used to call myself light skinned because I am a lighter complexion to a lot of other black people. But I'm not. I am chocolate skin. We can all see that. Yes, I am black. I am not light skinned. I am not whatever. And it was a massive thing for me because
not in a rude way, but is that the only thing that I have? Do you know what I mean?
Yeah. And like I feel like I used to get so one of my biggest things that I used to hate is that I am like the depiction of mommy. Do you know the caricature that they made in Blowing in the Wind? Yeah. I've got big boobs, I've got a big bum, I've got a waist, I like Nicki Minaj says, I can do the cooking, I can do the cleaning kind of thing, and I really fit that mold and adaptation of like that stereotypical black woman. So I think that is why a lot of the times like I just kept quiet because that was something I used to hate. Yeah. That I was already like, I was already known as an auntie or a mum or wifey that used to fuck me off when I was younger. Oh yeah,
like, people used to call me wifey anyway.
All the time, and it was like, just because you hear like that in like black culture or whatever, like don't...
Feel like you can.
Yeah, and it stigmatized me into being that thing. It kind of like, I felt like it took me away from... It
removed your individuality.
Yeah,
it removed you from your individuality, for sure.
Exactly, and I think... I can't remember where I'm going with this.
It's cool. That's what I'm here for. But basically, white women and intersectional feminism is a myth. Like, we've seen it with Florence Given. We've seen it with the Me Too movement. We've seen it with so many, people of colour and black people's stories being ignored, not getting resources, not getting recognition. It doesn't matter if you're looking at social media or research studies. Like, the whole idea of palatability, is that a word? Palatability. Being more palatable and having black women who are... The world wasn't created for black women. So by default, by society's default, we're not palatable. And that only fluctuates and changes depending on how dark you are, depending on your size, depending on how you keep your hair. And 2020, 2019, whatever couple years that we've had now, you see a resurgence of owning your authenticity, being unapologetic in your character, and also being confident.
We're the only few like black women. We are the only ones who really don't have like figures to look up to.
We're making our own rules.
Exactly. Like, for example, even though the Asian community could say maybe otherwise, and even like the South American or Hispanic community can say otherwise, but like they, like if you look at Disney, there's people like Mulan, there were, Princess Jasmine, there was some form of something for you to look up to.
Do you know what? I love how you brought up princesses as well.
Why in Jesus' name did I think I had the capability of being Cinderella? I don't look like her. I don't sound like her.
But
I don't think or act like her.
That's what we were presented to as younger. It's like, oh, do you want to be a princess? Do you want to be a fairy? Do you want to... Like, it doesn't need to be too, like, feminine in the sense of, like, gender specific. But princesses, regality, sort of... I don't know, I don't want to say status, but like this ideal of you can have anything that you dream of. Yeah. You have anything that you can desire of. That is always presented to princesses, aka
non-black people.
Yeah.
Like, if you have, if you want, a lot of black women are deemed as princesses. Like, for myself, my family comes from achievementship. I am a princess.
Yeah.
But tell me why there's no representation. And if anyone comes with me saying Princess Tiana, she came out in like 2017. That dream of mine was already been and gone. Don't even at me with that. Do you know what I mean?
You're right. No, you're so right.
And it's annoying that is even a thing. Even now, like, I have a really close friend who loves princesses. And there's now, I think, a new adaptation coming out. Yeah. And she posted saying something like, finally, I have a princess I can look up to. And that made me really sad. And I was like... You're 21, like that should have happened a long time ago.
And I'm not going to be grateful because it's happening now.
Yes, exactly. Like, it's annoying. And even now, like, we have like Princess Tiana and all these kind of things, but all these other princesses have sequels. They have more substance. We had, okay, guys, now you can stop complaining. Here's your princess.
Yeah.
But why is there no princess who came from Africa? Why is she a girl from New Orleans? Or even like with this whole Black Panther thing.
To be fair, look, I know exactly what you're saying. This is just a quick little tip from me. New Orleans, there is so much spirituality with hoodoo.
No, I know. So I was glad that it came from there. But like
I'm happy that was genuine to the story and it was a black
Americans.
Yeah.
But what about Africans? What about Jamaicans? What about?
You're right.
Do you know what I mean?
You're right.
Like, there's no princesses from there. Like, it's annoying that like.
And there's so many stories. Fucking The Little Mermaid is Jamaican.
Swear.
That comes from Jamaica. Wait. Let me not say Jamaica. Let me just say the Caribbean before I get things wrong. The Little Mermaid is from a Caribbean story.
That's what I mean.
But Ariel's white.
That's what I mean.
And then we made her black with Chloe and Hailey. She's coming out. It's coming out next year. Yeah, so Ariel's black now. And everyone was like pissed off at it. And it's like, raw. Wow, you must be racist if you are angry at a fucking mermaid being black.
But it's even like, did you guys know that Brandy was Cinderella?
Yes, I did know that because it was a sick film.
I only found that out this year.
What do you mean?
What do you mean? I'll tell you a little something that used to piss me off, but like, whatever. I am what some people would deem.
Oh.
So I
people used to say that to me. People used to say to me. People used to call me names like that, but to me it's like, oh, your personality doesn't match your skin colour. That's what you're saying.
And then I used to hate it when you used to talk to people, and then if I went like, now I feel really uncomfortable saying it, but if I use slang, they'll be like giggling, and I'll be like, why are you laughing? Like, these are black people. And
because I didn't say it right.
They'll say it doesn't sound right. And even my own friends would laugh and be like, it doesn't sound right. And I'm like, who are you to judge what comes out of my mouth and what sounds right and what? But if I'm going, oh child, you tried it. Oh, now that's when you're laughing and clapping because I'm doing an black kind of, what do you call it, slangy term or whatever.
But that's so African, like, it's African Americanized,
Yeah, and like
because British culture,
I'm joking.
No, British culture, that's the thing. When we were younger, I personally looked outward to whilst I was growing up. Like, when I was in boarding school, I wasn't watching British TV. I was watching American TV. Do you know what I mean? That's where I was getting my representation from. Yeah, that's what I was getting my understanding.
Very, very little representation. You're telling me that I should just rely on Ka-Ching on CBBC? Shut up. Even though that show did slap. Love Reggie Yates. Oh
my God, you're funny. Was it Reggie Yates? It wasn't even Reggie Yates now.
Yeah, it was.
No, it wasn't Reggie Yates.
Google it.
Okay. Because I'll be like, that's so fun. No, it's not. It's not Reggie Yates.
Yes, it was.
That is another mixed race guy. It's not. It's Devin Anderson.
That's not Reggie Yates.
Look at you. That's so funny.
Reggie Yates was in something. He was
Reggie
like the
Yates
pizza
was just
guy
sexy.
Oh, he is so sexy.
I shouldn't. Oh, actually, no, I don't care. I was about to
Keep
say,
it in if you see this video.
You know what? You talked about representation in Britain, and this takes me really, really quickly to I May Destroy You. So during our break, whatever, our chat, we were talking about this scene. Me and Dani watched this video of I May Destroy You episode 9, talking about the reunion or the alliance, and it follows the story of Michaela Cole, who acts as Arabella. Spoiler alert if you haven't watched it yet, maybe just avoid listening for the next 5 minutes. But basically, she goes to a sexual assault sort of clinic, safe space, to talk about her experience. She becomes really good friends with this person called Theo. She knows this girl called Theo, who's a white woman from school. And when she lets her other close friend know that she's friends with Theo, she's shocked because Theo was racist or vicariously, is that secondhand, yeah? Indirectly / directly racist. She was just racist in school. And Arabella and her best mate had to go tell the teacher, wagwan. So we watched this clip to sort of unpack what is white women's tears, because that's something that is adaptive and fluid within any conversation about race. I learned a lot of information from Rennie Edo-Lodge, the author Why Am I Not Talking to White People About Race Anymore? She actually did a podcast episode called she's got a podcast called About Race, but number 7 is called White Woman Crying, and it's also really informative if you guys want to listen to that. But anyway, let me go back to the YouTube thing. So basically, with this Theo character, she got sexually assaulted by a black man. The black man had asked her to participate in photography whilst performing sexual acts. She felt vulnerable, and well, it seemed like her character was vulnerable, so she said yes. However, she broke the phone afterwards, so there was no evidence of the action or the assault afterwards. Anyway, she's now in class. A classmate sees her legs. Her legs are bleeding. Her teacher asked her why her legs are bleeding, and she said that the black man that she had that had got sexually assaulted by or had sexual actions with raped her at knife point, and she's crying her eyes out. She tells this teacher, and obviously the teacher then pulls the black individual into the classroom and calls the police because it's serious. It's a rape charge, and it's also a assault with a deadly weapon. Mm-hmm. Do you know what I mean? And throughout the episode, it basically comes out that she obviously had lied about the knife point and said she didn't agree to take the photos. Don't get me wrong, she was definitely coerced into taking those photos.
She wasn't forced.
Yeah, it wasn't forced with a weapon. That's what I'm basically trying to say.
Yeah, but she was still assaulted.
She was assaulted.
Yeah, for sure.
She was assaulted and she was coerced. Anyway, she accused this black man of rape with a knife. And
utilizing your power.
She utilized her power to present this black man as the scapegoat to her pain. Now, I don't agree with what he did. I don't justify it. But what this woman did, what this white woman did, was use her vulnerability, use her fragility and her emotions to cause harm to others. When I tell you white women tills can murder you, can murder anyone, especially if they're black, believe me, because that story is exactly the same as Emmett Till. However, it's a different age, it's a different environment, and therefore it's going to have a different impact. Revenge porn in the noughties was such a thing, whether you're black, white, like mixed race, it didn't matter. Revenge porn in school was so barbaric. It was epidemic. It was an epidemic in British culture.
Yeah, innit?
And yeah, how did you feel about that scene?
I think, it's one of those things that are like really difficult because you feel her pain, you feel her anguish, and then I feel bad for being angry at her for doing that.
Yeah.
Like you said, she was so hurt and so angry that she had to be like with knife point. And it was just like, but if you just said what happened anyway, the repercussions would never have been towards her regardless.
Yeah.
It was like her anger and her bitterness that is what infiltrated her to do that. Do you know what I mean? It's the fact that she knew, if I say that this guy had a knife, there'll be more repercussions put to him. But like you said, he even though it was wrong for him to have done what he did, she fully ruined his life for like forever.
Yeah.
And ever and ever and ever. It is very similar to that Amy incident that happened where that woman in the US was having her dog off the lead, and then the black guy tells her to put the dog back onto the lead, and then she sounds very scared and very vulnerable at the fact that he was talking to her. Yeah, because you can hear her voice shake.
No, but the thing is, when she sees the black man, she's like, so, and she's shaking because she's in trouble. But when she's on the phone to the police, she's like, there's a black man, there's an African-American man in the park.
Like, why do you have to emphasize
She's changing,
his race?
she's emphasizing his race because she knows that that's going to get him in trouble and that's going to get her attention quicker. But she's also using this vulnerability in her tone to be like, oh, what's about me? Like, I could talk to you like this, or I could talk to you like this.
No, go to
What's gonna get me my results?
If you sound
add some blue eyes and blonde hair. You're taking over the fucking world. Oh wait, that was Trump.
And that's the tea. Thank you for today's podcast.
I don't know where that came from.
With a bit of time! No, I'm joking, I'm just getting angry
but
now.
Like, no, yeah, now I'm just getting vexed. But honestly, like, I can't even begin to tell you about how many white women have tried to destroy my life. Like, there was this one girl, right? She didn't like me and she tried to get me kicked out of school, like, on a couple occasions. So basically, one of the last occasions was... she pissed me off, and I said, I basically was like, I want to annihilate her. I said, I want to annihilate her. Do you know what I mean? If I say I annihilate someone, like, that's nothing. That's like...
Yeah.
Let me not explain myself. Anyway, this girl, I said... this girl pissed me off, and I was just like, yeah, I don't like her, except X, Y, and Z. I was confident with saying I don't like her. I'll say it to your face. I'll say it to your friends. I don't care.
I love how you can say things with chest. Like, every time we're talking right now, I keep on thinking of times I'm like, I wish I could do that. Like, even do this talk, like, I want to say things, and I'm like, I'm scared to project because I don't want backlash.
I know what you mean, but like this... It's fluid, and yes, I can say things with chest now, and I definitely did then, but not always. And that's what I'm trying to learn through this podcast, through life.
But even like you just said, not always.
Yeah.
But there were times where you did. I would always never say, unless I knew that my girls or my people were backing me with chest.
Yeah.
Now I just thought of a story I want to tell you after this.
See, that's the thing. It's like, at the end of the day, no one was backing me, innit? No one was backing me.
But
I had to back myself.
The fact that you can still do it with chest is so like we always establish, our way of growing up were very similar, but the way that we both infiltrated and behaved about things are like this.
Yeah.
Two completely different ways.
Yeah, no,
I would
right.
rather keep quiet and look cute and pretty and just be like the black girl that
I was
everybody...
a wind-up. I loved it. I was a wind-up.
But then you're the one that kept these people on their toes. If, say, these white girls or these white people ever have a situation where they're in a similar predicament, they'll be like, yeah, remember how Seerah... this person is bigger and scarier. Why would I try and put my... Do you see what I mean? Whilst I've always been the person who goes, okay, no, it's fine.
I see you.
I see you.
You're going to get with the wrong black person.
But uncle's going to piss you off one day, and you're going to see what happens when you say these things to other black people. And I would say that to people. I'd always be like, I may not see... Like, I remember...
might not hurt you.
There were boys I knew who go, I was born... That they would play that song in front of me, that River Jordan song, and they would find it hilarious.
Okay.
And I would literally be like... Play that in front of another black person. just play it and see what will happen. Just because I'm not retaliating and just because I will go at home and I'd rather be upset by myself doesn't mean that when you do that.
But yeah, no, you're right. I mean, I did both. I was upset by myself, but I would show you why I was upset.
No, fair.
But yeah, let me tell you about this girl. So basically, she tried to get me kicked out of school. So she basically said that I was organising people to come from my home to come attack her. She said that I was going to fight her on the high street because it was safer there than it was on school. She said that I was going to bottle her. She said that I was going to like do all of these things from her and get people from Windsor to attack her. And it's like, listen to what you said. You're mad. Windsor who now? Fool. Anyway, she was all this to the teacher. I came into the office and like, oh yes, Sarah, we have to do this report. I had to do this fat ass report, and they were like, oh, did this happen? Did this happen? Did this happen? I was like, no. I did it with a new teacher, and that teacher had come from up north, A, and also B, they had come from a rougher school. So they saw me. They saw that I wasn't capable of this madness. They saw that I was rude, but they saw that I was capable. Wasn't capable of this madness. Yeah. So it didn't. It didn't.
More in your favor than hers, kind of thing. Because they
not necessarily, because the thing is, at the end of the day, you're a teacher. You saw that people were racist to me. You could have done something. Do you know what I mean? Okay. Like at the end of the day, if we have to play that card, like you were older than me, you could have helped more. Yeah. You know.
Fine.
But because it was them dealing with this situation and not another teacher, it was able to solve. I remember afterward, when I saw her afterwards, she was like to me like, oh, what'd she say? She said something. When I said to her, I was like, why did you think I wanted to fight you? She was like, oh, because of this X, Y, and Z. I was like, but why would you think I would want to touch you? And I just looked at her, like looked in her soul, and I'm like, look, at the end of the day, you think that you're powerful by being angry and finding attention in me to source your anger, but I don't care about you. Yeah. You're irrelevant.
Yeah.
If you're not this white woman that's pissing me off, there's gonna be another white woman that pisses me off. Yeah. I can't get attached to you. Yeah. I cannot get attached for you. So when you're saying that I don't like you, it's not the fact that I don't like you. I just can't be bothered with your shit. Because guess what? I've done it before. Yeah. I've done it before. Yeah. Do you know what I mean? It's like every white woman will have their different change in interests, their beliefs, whatever. But this energy, this not wanting to take accountability, also being complicit, and also dishing out when they can't take it, is three things that I'm not recycling with you because I've already done it with the last white bitch.
You know what, actually, now that we're speaking of this, I lived with some girls. I was really scared to tell this story, but I'm just going to do it because, I went through it. And these girls had, originally I was meant to live with them in
second year.
So this was in my first year because I did a foundation, but their second year.
Okay, second year's a crazy year. I was living with racists too.
No, I didn't even get to live with them. This is the thing. So I was meant to live with them, and then basically my dad was living in China, so there was these altercations. A friend of mine is from Bali. She also had altercations because, to have a guarantor, they need to have a property in England and all that stuff. Yeah. So this other girl in this chat was going completely ballistic about how everything was taking so long because our parents were taking so long, and I was like, look, I'm doing the best that I can. Yeah. But again, it was quite tricky for me just because of family circumstances. Of course. The same with my friend. And I remember this conversation got so blown out of water, and this girl was like to my friend, well, I thought you were daddy's little princess, so if it's such a problem, I don't see why it can't be fixed. And I was like, hun, first of all, that was a really unnecessary statement to say because this is not a financial issue. Yeah. This is just the fact he hasn't got anything to really like hold him down and say she can't pay her rent kind of thing, right? Yeah. So why we're bringing that up isn't fair. So that really annoys me because I hate it when people utilize someone else's privilege against them. Yeah. So I was like, hang on, this isn't on. This whole conversation, I can't really remember it, but it blows up out of proportion. And she goes, if you want to talk like this to me, we'll take it outside. So I was like,
come!
So I was like, okay, let me.
I'm ready.
I was like, let me
Sorry,
set it straight.
I see Josh's eyes flickering because I said it really loudly to the mic. Sorry, Josh.
I was like, let me just get this clear. I was like, let me just tell you something really quick. We're not gonna do that because I'll tell you why. Two things would happen. I hit you, you hit the floor. That's it. I was being honest.
If I touch you, you will see double.
That's what I mean. I was like, there's no need to get into conflict.
Shout out.
There's no need to get into conflict because I don't want that to be the conflict kind of thing.
Yeah.
And she was like, oh my God, now you're being aggressive. Now you're threatening to fight me, blah, blah, blah. And I went, no, hang on. You're the one who asked to take it outside.
You wanted to take it outside.
I'm just saying, you know what's going to happen. I don't want to go outside because I don't want you to hit the floor. I don't want to be in trouble. Do you know what I mean? So I went, I'll just do you all the favor and I just won't live with you guys.
Yeah.
Right? So then, foolish girls, they have traumas with this girl who threatened to have a fight with me. And then she leaves. So then, because they all seemed so lovely, I said I'd live with them again. My consequences. So, I should have seen red flags, but I didn't. I lived with these girls.
But you want... Yeah, go on.
And they were really sweet, really great for a while before I actually moved in, where there was a conflict of me being loud. And I used to hate that.
Sorry, pause. I'm sorry, interject. But we know I've been black for 23 years. I know when someone is calling me loud, they are saying I'm too black, too black, too black. They are saying I'm too black.
Do you know what? Even to the point, I don't know, we may have genuinely been being loud, but I just got annoyed that it was Dani is who we could hear the most.
My voice projects.
Just because I've got bass in my diaphragm, don't at me.
A white woman once, right?
Wait, I'm not even done yet.
I know, we're the worst.
So then in the morning,
after
I said my sorry and my peace and they were annoyed, 7 o'clock in the morning, aunties banging drums and pans and pots. I don't want to see because of y'all, so y'all go see because of... Is it... Sorry.
No, but me and you are the same.
Yeah, so then, even then, those girls made my life hell, as well as my other 2 housemates there too. So there were 6 of us. So there was literally 3 against 3. And they made our life hell. Honestly, honest hell. Like, we'll just have problems all the time where I would shit myself to go home. Why should I be scared to go home when I pay the exact same rent as you?
Yeah.
I'm in the same boat as you, same position, and they thought they had more leverage because they were 3rd year and I was in 2nd year. But we were meant to be friends. That's why I chose to live with you guys. It's calling me dirty and messy.
Yeah, no, that's disgusting.
I'm one of the most cleanest people you'll meet, and my cooking stunk.
Honey, you'll never get a flavour like this.
5-class food.
You'll never get seasoning
Gordon
like
Ramsay
this.
has nothing on me.
You'll never get flavour.
No sauce.
No sauce.
No man.
No sauce.
And it just used to annoy me that, like, it took till the end of it for us to then... One of the girls ended up saying, like, oh, I felt so scared and felt nervous to come home. And I was like, do you know what? I felt like that for the whole year.
Yeah.
So I didn't even feel bad that you felt like that.
I'm
sorry, but I'm not sorry.
Like, if I felt like that, guess who I had to deal with it with? Myself.
Do you see what I mean?
Me, myself, and I. I had to deal with it with me, myself, and I. Why are you crying?
Why are you crying?
Take that to your journal.
And it would upset me when I'm walking up the stairs and I can hear you bitching about me. And I can hear your dad go, just slap her. Hit her. Hit me! I will show you what happens if you hit me. I kill you. No, I'm joking.
Honestly.
But I will kill you. No, I would. It used to upset me. And even on my birthday, on my 20th birthday, I was in the queue with this guy, and this guy was like, oh, I didn't get my job because he was applying for an accountancy job, and he said I didn't get it, the white guy did. So I was just like, white privilege, and we were joking about this guy was Asian, it was banter, whatever. Tell me why this uncle then jumps onto this conversation, this white guy, and goes, actually, no, it wasn't, you were just stupid and you were unlucky. And this guy was like, it was one of those situations where you could generally just see it was white privilege. Like, it is what it is, I've accepted it, I didn't get the job I wanted. But it was not this guy's opinion to get involved. Then this guy who was getting involved, his girlfriend goes, I'm an engineer and I get oppressed at work all the time. And I went, if you're going to talk about femininity in like the workplace, don't even get me started, girl, because I've got your back on that. Just give me 2 minutes. I was like, my dad is an engineer and he's also gone through hardships. You can't come to me and then start dwelling on your hardships when I know where that's coming from. To cut a long story short, the guy started calling me the N-word. He threw his drink at me. He spat at me to the point that my friends got involved. My friend Anna, who has buffaloes, love Anna, you're the best, literally kicks this guy, but he grabs her and she falls back on herself. There are 2 police officers on the other side watching this whole thing. So because my friend Anna got hurt, these black boys were like, nah, fuck this, get involved, and then tell me why the police came over. And then I literally was screaming and shouting, and my friends were like, Dani, you're going to get arrested. And I was like, do you know what? At this point, genuinely, I've just been arrested. I've just been cussed out. I've been assaulted. My dress is ruined. I look horrible now. This guy's just thrown God knows what at me, and the police officers aren't even doing anything. My friend just got hurt. I got assaulted. And tell me why they're just saying this guy's drunk and tired and whatever. And I literally said to these officers, if those black boys did that the other way around, why would they be arrested? And they didn't have an answer. Do you know what I mean?
Because the thing is,
because they know. For me, like, I've experienced like police brutality and police problems ever since I was a kid. Even though I lived in a really nice area, I grew up in a nice area. Tell me why when I was in year 7, I got just stopped by the police. I got stopped by the police walking home, and I had to take my dad to drive up in his nice car to then see what's going on for the police to leave me alone. Tell me why my mum was the one who had police brutality because she was also driving a nice car. I don't hear any of my other white friends' parents' windows get smashed in because they didn't agree to get out of the car that they paid for. And then these people are now deciding to ruin my night out on my birthday just because I made a joke about white privilege. You're telling me I'm having a hardship with these girls because they suddenly don't like how loud I am when they found me hilarious before I lived there.
Yeah.
You all can sleep at night and be happy, but I still have these awful memories that I have to carry on till I die.
You're right. You're completely right. And that's why these conversations are so needed, and I'm so happy that I've got a platform to showcase them to whoever wants to listen to them. Because it's like, white women literally can kill you. Whiteness can kill you. Whiteness kills you every fucking day, whether it's your spirit or with its bodies, you know? And I find it very... it's not ignorance anymore, it's choice, you know? Like, I can't ignore the fact that you're getting spat at on your birthday. I can't ignore the fact that people are trying to kick me out of my school just because they do not like me.
That's what
how can I show you respect when respect was never gifted to me? Respect was never afforded to me. So how dare you think that I owe it to you?
I think
do you see that catch-22 that black women are just placed in by just being black women? And that's why I will never, ever, ever change, adapt, contort, distort myself for white women's feelings. White people's feelings, full stop. But this episode today, we're talking about white womanism. So
I would say though, with me, I always used to find it difficult as well because I'm very lucky to have the friends that I have as friends. My friends, they all know who they are. They're amazing. They have my back to the day I die, and they're all white. So whenever I hear these stories or I experience shit like this, I'm like, I kind of get annoyed, and I'm like, because they protected me and put me in such a bubble where also, like I said, I would sometimes forget, like, I am black, like, that race was an issue because I never really felt like they would treat me any different. Do you know what I mean?
I know
so then
you
it
mean,
always
but I
puts me
guess
to
it's
this
just...
hardship of, like, I get so angry and then I get so confused and frustrated because I'm like, why can't everybody else be like my girls?
True.
Why can't everybody else treat us nicely? That's what I felt like
when I went to when I would go to protest and just see so many white people there. I'm like, I wish I met these people when I was growing up.
That's what I mean. Like, it's so annoying. Like, even like, for example, that's why I love, for example, the TV show Chewing Gum.
Yeah.
A lot of the things.
She made the show.
Yeah. What's her name again?
Michaela Cole.
Michaela Cole is fucking amazing. She puts a lot of light on things that a lot of people deal and feel like they went through on their own.
Well, I think that's why she did that episode with Theo, with the guy, with the girl getting sexually assaulted, and then, accusing the guy of attacking her with a knife. I think it was very layered, but it was in the context of children. Like Theo, the character, she didn't come from a good home. She was in and out of foster care. She experienced problems with her mum, and we all knew girls that happened to at school, but was their stories being supported? Were they being centered in their care, or were they being used and abused? And I think that's what Michaela Cole shows on this episode. But I want to read out something, a little quote to end Decoding the Messes. Essentially, I listened to that podcast from Rennie Edo Lodge earlier, the one, episode 7, White Woman Crying is Racist. And it says, a lot of well-meaning white women ask me what they should do should be doing to help the anti-racist cause, but I'm primarily interested in expressing myself rather than teaching white people how to be. So here's some advice from a well-meaning white woman. And this girl is named Laurie. She's a white woman white woman, also feminist, also like journalist, like she's done bare things. And she wrote this section, she said this thing that just really stuck out to me, so I thought I'd read it out. It says, and this is talking about learning about race, by the way, for context. It says, it's that they think that they can get away with not talking about it because it's easier. It's a combination of cowardness and laziness rather than active malice. But yeah, for me personally, it's just been about being braver, taking more risks, and sometimes passing the mic and handing opportunities that you get. Like if you are asked to write something or speak in an event, which genuinely a woman of colour would be a far more appropriate person to do that kind of work, then hand over the mic. Like this is probably the longest conversation in any sort of official capacity I've had about me and anti-racism.
It's like, it kind of reminded me of that quotation in A Doll's House.
What is it?
A Doll's House is a play that was done forever ago. My brain's not just died, but it was a really great play that was set in... Oh, my English teacher from A-level.
It's fine,
now. But it's called A Doll's House. And it's also, who is it? In The Great Gatsby, Daisy quotes it. And the quote is, when she has her daughter, she goes, I hope that she'll be a fool. That's the best thing a woman could be, a beautiful little fool. And it's one of my favourite quotations. But as I've been growing up, I've realised that it doesn't apply to me. Because as a black woman, you can't be foolish.
You can't. Because
you're being thrown swords at you each way. You like, for example, that girl, for her to play dumb and be a beautiful little fool was her saviour. Because then what? That boy gets arrested, she gets her revenge, whatever, that's it. Day's done. It's her choice.
Who's saving black women? Black women.
But that's what I mean. And it was crazy for me that I used to read that quote and I used to say, oh my god, I love its quote, it's such a beautiful quote. But then until you only asked me that question, I was like, that quote isn't for me. I can't be a beautiful little fool, because if I'm a beautiful little fool, it's going to be the death of me. I need to be quick-witted. I need to be aware of myself.
Stay ready so you don't have to get ready.
Exactly.
Crazy.
And I just thought that was an interesting thing to add. But
no, that's an amazing ending to Decoding the Messes.
Decoding the Messes.
Decoded the mess.
Decoded. It's been decoded.
It's been decoded. So... the Palo Santo is burning, the incense is burning. We are back for Tarot Talks. I'm with Dani, and we've developed a question for today.
Oh, we're recording on that one as well.
Well, I'm literally like staring at this one. Like, two cameras, who does she think she is? Ooh! We came up with a question for Tarot Talks. Spirit, universe, higher power, ancestors, spirit team, guidance. Please, can you give us some cards to bring us closer to our gut feeling, to bring us closer to our intuition? I would like this in the form of a situation, action, and outcome card. Yeah, that's what I'm asking.
Okay.
I claim it.
I have goosebumps.
I claim it. Oh my god.
I don't want to get involved, so I'm
just gonna... You know what, I'm gonna just, the first 3 cards out that come out, I'm just gonna do it.
Okay.
Oh, hello! Okay.
Oh my god, 2 came out at the same time.
Okay, I don't know. Okay, I'm just gonna do those 2 together.
No, use them.
I think so. And, was everything okay?
Sorry.
Right. Oh, this 5 came out. This is definitely a 2-parter. So, we got energy.
I love that it hit you twice. Like, it's going to be a 2-parter.
Yeah.
Yes, it's a 2-parter.
It feels like we've been recording for what feels like a lifetime, but now I understand why. We did a tarot, well, I just said it before, but we just did the question was, what will bring me closer to my gut? What will bring me closer to my intuition? we've got 5 cards. I asked for 3. 4 of which have come out as paired cards, so there are conjoined meanings. So the first card is situation, the second card is action, the third card is outcome. We've got, honestly, you don't understand how significant this card reading is. It's crazy. Okay, I need to break this down. Right. First one, we've got 8 of Wands. That's talking about your communication. However, it's to do with your fire. It's to do with your energy, your enthusiasm. And with Wands, they want to ignite brightly. Their passion wants to burn. They want to be maintained. They're an active element, right? But with 8 of Wands, it's like there's so many energies and inspirations and ideas that they're either complementing each other or they're competing for each other. We've got it in the upright position, so that means that it's completing each other, right? No, complementing each other. With Wands as well, we talk about a forward expansion, and that could mean that someone might be traveling. That might mean that you're getting some emails in the next few days that is gonna change your mind, or even bringing you up that business, or bring you to your higher self, but in a sort of self-actualizing sort of manifestation. We've got so much land and so much air in this image that means that the opportunities are endless. Like the opportunities are infinite, you know. All these green leaves that are sprouting off the wands are blooming, like blooming possibilities or blooming opportunities, right? So that's the 8 of Wands. That's a minor arcana. That's a day-to-day thing, right? Next card we got is for action, right? You've got 9 of Cups and King of Wands upside down. Both cards are upside down. So this means that they mean a combination of things reversed, right? The 9 of Wands is talking about having your wishes fulfilled. 9 is a sort of finality in a number, like we're going up, right? Like it goes 8, 9, 10, yeah? And we all want to come to satisfaction or completion at 10. But 9, it's like, oh, we need to get there, but we need to tie up loose ends. You've got 9 of Cups equals 9 of Water, and that's like being either too optimistic, too idealistic, like your head's in the clouds, or that's like being too restrictive. So like with the card, they're sitting on a wooden bench and they're content with the neutrality that they've placed themselves on. But when it's upright, it's like, ooh, I've got all these wishes and I'm content. But when it's downright, it's like you're not appreciating the joys that are available to you, or you're overindulging in those joys, right? You've got the King of Swords with the 9 of Cups, so that means the element of air is working with the element of water, and the King of Swords is more important. It's talking about personality types. So the King of Swords is to do with strategic planning, communication, assertive, direct, but not actually they could be cruel. They could be cruel because they're reversed. When it's upright, their their throne is literally as high as the ceiling, if not higher. So that means not high as the ceiling. It's like expanding the ceiling. It's going outside into the skyline. Yeah. So that means that their intuition, their sort of hindsight, or their opinion is on a heavenly plane. Do you know what I mean? They're taking awareness from what's in the air as well as what's in the world. Yeah. But they're using their mind to get what they want. When you see the King of Swords reversed, they might be doing it in a tricky, sneaky way, right? This is big Aquarius energy. But the 9 of what?
Why does that one make me feel nervous?
I don't know. Should I carry on?
Yeah.
It's about to get lit. The last one is outcome.
So the fact that it's upside down is not a good thing?
No, that's not true. You can get other cards upside down and it's a great thing.
No, but I'm saying for that card, the fact that it is upside down isn't a good thing.
It could be calling you out on personality characteristics that are very restricted.
Okay.
Or that aren't enforcing boundaries. Either you're enforcing way too many boundaries or you have no boundaries. That's what I'm getting with this energy.
Okay.
But with this energy, which is the sun and the hanged man, and this is extremely important because these are major arcanas. These are overarching themes in our life that everyone goes to. These are the archetypes. It's like, this is like some of the most important cards in the deck. These are like significant personalities, and this is like day to day. So we've literally got a trajectory of each facet of life. But because this is talking about an overindulgence or an underindulgence, and then this is talking about expression, but in such a combined way, because when you see the sun, it's like optimism, possibilities, like it's literally joy and fulfillment, abundance. The hanged man is present with the sun when they've gotten out of their head. The hanged man's lesson is to find comfort in the environment that they're placed in, because they've made a conscious effort to translate the mental to external, and external to the mental, but in like a healthy way. Because the hanged man, right, is just chilling. The hanged man hangs. The hanged man, when reversed, is procrastinating. It's boredom. It's restrictive. It's very like, do you know what this energy is? This energy is the Batman. It sounds random, but let me break it down. So the hanged man, right? The Batman is like the hanged man because he puts on himself that he thinks he needs to save all of Gotham, right? When his parents passed away in a horrible accident. I'm sorry that your parents have gone. However, being a victim to your parents' grief does not justify you going up and down Gotham City, using it as your playground and killing people and civilians on the way.
Even if you're trying to do it for a good thing.
Exactly. Okay. You have to get out of your head. You have to get out of the perspective that has been dawned on you. Crazy. How do you feel about this reading?
Shit. Like, honestly, these two got me moving mad. The pair and the first one. Because I really related when you were speaking to that one, and that one really brought me stress because it brought me in a conflict of where I'm interested in what it said, and I want to see what I'm placing myself in. Am I overindulging? Am I underindulging? Kind of thing, and where and why and what.
But then also, because this card started with this is like go, go, go energy, yeah? And it's like go, go, go energy, push you through onto this personal journey that you're on, where you use your mental intellect to slice through the joys provided to you. Because that's going to give you abundant worth of happiness with youthful innocence, but only when you're rested. Only when you're comfortable and you're relaxed and you think outside the box, but in a very like, if one way's not working, go the other way, you know?
That's the thing that I'm finding interesting. I don't usually do that.
Maybe it's saying to get to the sun, to get to your happiness, you gotta get out of your own head, but go a different way. Because the thing is, even now, when I look at these cards, the kings, the queens, whatever, you either have them or you need them. And it's how you identify with the personality is how it's gonna like sort of manifest, you know? But good things are coming. You've literally got the sun card. Like, this is like divine masculine energy. This is like youthful innocence. You got a white horse there, red action, sunflowers, rising tall. Good things are coming, baby. Good things are coming.
That's all I want to hear.
Wow. That was a lovely tarot though.
That is really good energy.
Amazing.
I like that it made me think as well.
Yeah.
Yeah, that is a really good energy.
Oh, I think this takes us to...
Can I take a picture?
You, of course. Maybe, shall we take a picture afterwards?
That's
in a little bit.
Yeah.
Well, this means it takes us to our last segment.
Amazing. Tell me.
It's the direct message. You did not read this email.
I did. I was
I'm joking. The direct message is a food for thought. It's basically where you leave listeners with a little take-home message. What would it be?
Genuinely, just to be true to yourself. I'm saying that because that's something I'm really trying to do. There's nothing wrong with being a people pleaser. The only time there's something wrong with it is when it's displeasing you.
Ooh.
And
I was like, where's this gonna go?
And I feel like a lot of people are so into just bringing ease and comfort that is no longer their own ease and comfort. And we need to stop doing that. Like, you can't come and just start doing things for people when it's gonna start affecting you. Do you know? Exactly. And there's no need to put yourself through that stress and trauma, because when you're actually in that predicament, it's really hard to get out of it. And every time you're doing stuff, you're doing it for people and because you want to make people happy. But sometimes there's something you need to ask yourself, like, would someone do that for you? Probably not. So unless you're doing it with chest and saying, I don't mind and I don't care, so I'm doing it generally because I want to and I love you, there's no qualms. There's no problem.
Because you're not going to be left feeling unsatisfied. Because you did it for you at the end of the day.
So you also got fulfillment from it. But if you're getting lack of fulfillment, don't go say la vie, it is what it is. Like, those only work when you're doing things that are good for you too.
That literally is, you're a tarot reader.
Yeah, I am. And also another one that my mum keeps on saying to myself, which I think it's really good for now. Yeah. Everything happens for a reason, guys. Remember that everybody's in the same boat as you. Things are shit right now, but everything's happening for a reason. I honestly believe we're doing the Roaring 20s backwards, and we're going through all of this shit, right? And at the end of it, we're all fucking great Gatsbys. We're all happy. We're all living our best lives. Who's Kim Kardashian? All of us. And it'll just be fruitful. Do you know what I mean?
I don't like Kim Kardashian.
I did not say her name.
I don't like her.
Cut it out.
No, I'm going to leave it in. No, I'm going to leave it in.
I mean in the
there
sense
might be
of,
some
like,
people that like Kim Kardashian. I just don't rate her, innit?
No, I mean in the sense of, like, you know how they seem to be living their best life on the public?
Yeah, but
that's what I'm saying, but they may not be. Like, let's just... Okay, then no, don't be like her, but just live your best life.
No, but just do you.
But do you, but in, like, your best life possible. Be true to yourself, and everything will be fine. I really think it's going to be another way around Great Gatsby. It's going to be good at the end.
Amazing.
That's the energy I want anyway.
I like that energy. Amazing. It's been a great podcast. Thank you for being my guest.
Thank you for having me.
I don't know what my direct... Actually, no, I do. I think something that I keep on coming back to, just that whole saying of you cannot let people live in your head rent-free.
Yeah.
And I think when it comes to white women weaponising their tears or white women-related racism activism or racism work, there is a... opportunity for you to get so engulfed and get so sort of I don't want to say brainwashed, but, like, you know, when you're, like, sort of like how do I explain this? I think when it comes to white women racism information or racism studies or whatever white women has to play in their racism story, it's very easy to get engulfed within the information because it's a reoccurring thing that has happened in the 1950s, in 2020, anytime. And I believe that we cannot move through the world with people living in our heads rent-free. It's not fair. Do you so you can have your head for yourself. Do you so you can have clarity and have ownership of your responsibilities, I guess, because the thing is, I'm learning a lot about emotional hygiene as well, and it is our responsibility and it is our right and our choice to look after our minds and look after our feelings. So if you see something, say something at your own safety, but also be in mind that this person could potentially give you a lesson that you didn't know you needed, or they aren't worth your time.
Yeah.
Because this isn't going to end tomorrow. Do you know what I mean? Like, this is a different energy to any of the anti-racism episodes that I've ever recorded or wish to record, because I know how many times, do you know what I mean? I know how many times someone's tried to keep me out of school, and that's just one fucking school, let alone
many others, or
even other experiences
others that you may not even be aware of.
Exactly, all the indirect stuff that I didn't know about, all the hidden figures.
Yeah.
But be smart, trust your intuition, trust yourself, because trust yourself, love yourself, because that's what you're gonna need at the end of the day.
I may be a burnt chicken nugget, but I still love myself.
A burnt chicken nugget.
Have you never seen that Vine?
No.
It's a Vine. It's this kid.
I'm
and
so
goes,
basic.
Even though I look like a burnt chicken nugget, I still love myself.
Oh my God, that's so
and
funny.
And like, it's just funny that this child said that. Like, fair. Love yourself.
Love yourself. Amazing. Thank you so much, Dani.
Thank you for having me. It was so much fun.
Where can people find you on socials?
I have a fashion account you guys could look into. It's called Violet Jeans. That one's really cool. Or just hit me up on my Instagram, Dani.Seerah. It's just my name, and it's just me posting photos of my life.
Looking cute or whatever.
Looking cute or
Amazing.
whatever.
Thank you so much for having
having me.
Oh my God.
Thank
I said
you
having. Oh my God. Tired.
It's a pleasure.
Thank you guys so much for listening. I've been your host of your favourite wellbeing podcast, DM.Talks.
That's the tip.
This is Seerah DM. Listen to more of our episodes. We're doing bits. Hasta luego, guys. Bye.
Love you.